All right, so I should be live in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody! Welcome! So great to have you. I'm here in build mode with Oculus and his giant duck.
What
Definitely
up?
not a euphemism. Let's get rid of this, though, because we don't need no
My
ducks
dog.
in here. But bye! Okay, now let's get back on track. So today we're going to be doing some building for Horizon World Tours. At least that's the plan. We'll see if this man ever allows it to exist. And I'm trying to keep what I'm building a relative secret, or a surprise. So as you guys watch the build happen, feel free to guess in the comments what you think it is. I've got some images that I can view because of Airlink. Really, dude? You're just like space junking this world up already? Stop the world.
You got to incorporate blue shirt guy. That's the challenge.
That's the challenge.
You got. You failed already.
I don't need a challenge. This task today is already so challenging. So we're at 32 player count. So our capacity is already used up by like a ton. 1% objects, which is always the case, but that should be fine. Let's go. Gonna use this thing to just quickly. Yep, we're good. Okay.
I'm just
Basically,
curious if you're going to make use of Platonic 01 because it's my new fave.
Platonic 01 is Oculus' new favorite. So under Asset Library Shapes, you can find all the new shapes. And Platonic 02. There's Platonic 01. Yeah, we'll use this somewhere. We'll find a way to use that for you. That's Oculus's only requirement. We can fulfill that requirement. So the first things first, I want to sketch out what we're building. I've got image there, image there, image there. You guys are here, so feel free to chat and engage, but don't have to if you don't want to. And then let's see, where to get started? So the nice thing about having a reference image is it's a little easier to like make things exactly what you're looking for. The hard part is staying within capacity. That's the real hard part. So there's this scene that I think is iconic. It's an iconic Horizon Worlds thing, and don't spoil it, Oculus. People got to guess.
Plaza. It's my favorite.
So I'm gonna try and recreate it, but there's this thing that happens that's kind of weird, though. So, like I said, I want to start by sketching, and then after the sketch, we're gonna try and build this in more detail. So I'm thinking this is going to be the day. So I'm going to describe things as I'm building it, and then at some point that'll make it a lot easier to guess. So this is going to be the day side, and then this is going to be the night side. And no, this is not a Tomato Galaxy reference, but by the way, the launch event is happening at 7 p.m. tonight, so we'll be checking that out. Super excited. Okay, stretch and snap to there. Okay. And to here. So there we have our day and night. And the question is, do I follow that one or that one? I feel like that one's the easier one to follow. So let's go with that one for now. We're going to go grab the manual color slider and switch to unlit. When you're doing skyboxes, you really want to use the unlit color. So there is that. It's a little darker blue, though, more into that tone, I think. Maybe even just a deeper. There we go. And then for our night, it's more of a purple tone, kind of a deep, dark purple like that. There we go. And then Rexrod has taught us some really cool tricks using dynamic lights. So if you go to your Gizmos tab under dynamic light, we can actually cause there to be a really nice like aurora on this, which can create some multiple tones. So we're going to drag our fall off distance up. We're going to drag our intensity up. And now you can start to see what we're able to do with this dynamic light is we're able to basically create this hot spot in the center, which is really cool. And as long as this is something that players can get to, a wee bit of lag here, but anyway, that's looking pretty cool already. But I do want this to go out a little bit wider, and I don't know that I want it to be super duper hot. So I'm thinking we roll up in here, maybe at the halfway point, drag it out. And then I want it to end right here at the top. So let's slide this down some more and then slide it out. And it's looking pretty good, but I also want it to diagonal almost all the way out to the edge. So let's go more intense, a little bit further fall off, and then we're going to drag it out even further. There we go, and down. That's looking pretty good. That's Pretty good. It's not that's the right color blue though, so let's go work on our blue. The purple's not bad. It's maybe a little too intense, I'm thinking. So let's go change our fall off distance and the intensity. Okay. There we go. So now we got some nice kind of like gradients, really. And then what is that? Is that a gap? No, we're good. Okay. So then on this blue, I didn't think this blue was dark enough. So we're going to go and grab a slightly darker blue from over in here. More like that tone of blue. Oh, that's looking really good. And then our purple, it could be a little bit darker on the edges. So let's go and darken that up a little bit. Boom. There we go. Very nice. So when you spawn in, you get this view. Very cool. Okay. So with this, let's go and start recognizing some of the other things that we're missing in here. So this isn't in the original. Well, there's like, oh my gosh, there's so many variations of this thing that I'm designing here today. But this, let's see, do I have the star script on me? Search STARS. Ah, no stars. That's too bad. Yeah, no stars in here. That's okay. We have a lot of tools at our disposal. So while I had no intention of showing how to quickly make this script, it's not that hard to make, I don't think. So what you need is a text object. So we'll go ahead and pull out the text object, maybe. Why is my hand not working? Try again. There it goes. Weird. Usually the opposite problem. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give this a name. We'll call this stars 2.0 because this is going to be a lot easier than the first one I made. I remember the first one being really hard, so this feels like this script should be a lot easier to follow. So then what we want to do is on world start have a looping event that's going to create a bunch of dots. So what we need to know is what is the symbol. So we create a string, and this is called symbol firm. And then the symbol we want to use is going to be the period because that's the best looking star. And then we want to do another string. And this one's going to be called break, which is just so we have it easily accessible. You could manually just type this in, but since we're using it in multiple places, it's nice to be able to just type in break like that. And then the next thing we want to do is also put in a string for space. And so spacer is nice because this is what goes in the middle. And so our spacer is going to be the tab key. It's invisible, but there is space there. And so then what we want to do is quickly create an event, and we need to recognize that we can only run this event. So, sorry, let me say that again. We're going to create a delayed event that happens 1 second after world start, and then it's going to keep looping as fast as possible, sending my event to self until, so we're going to use an if statement, until the length of the display me string, so we need to create one more string variable called display me, is at like 900, right? So once it reaches the limit of the text object, which is 1,000, we need to stop. So we will only loop until it reaches 1,000. So we can actually create a new number variable for this called max character count. There we go. So that allows you to make different variations on this, which we're going to currently set to 900. Okay. And then let's go put our if less than, and then put character count on the right because we want to make sure that the length of string, scrolling down to string, we can grab length of string and put that onto the left. And we're only sending this event back to self if the length of the display me string is less than the max character count. Now what's nice about this is I'm realizing we can actually, first let's go rename this to be loop because I want to better loop in here. So confirm, just a better name, sorry. There we go, and there we go. And then we're going to go grab another text, display text. So under actions tab, we can grab display text. And so every time this loop runs, we want to display me on self. And then that way we can see it building out. And then the next thing we want to do is say when loop is received, display me on self. We need to add to display me, so we're going to grab the set to. We want to set display me to be display me plus something. And so just kind of to quickly show this basics, we're going to grab another plus symbol. And here's the basics of what we're doing, right? So we're adding a symbol, which is our star. We're also adding a space. And occasionally we're going to add a break. Now there's a way to determine when we add a break, but let's go ahead and attach this and you'll be able to see this build out. So we'll go attach stars 2.0, and then if I hit play world, you'll see the script is going to build the first set of stars. So there it goes. And it's still going. It's really small, but it's going all the way to 1,000 dots with perfect even spacing. And so there's some really cool things you can do with something like that. But we want to do some more complicated things. And so what we want to do is perhaps, let's see, we need to add a break every so often so that it creates a grid. And we want to do a break every 30. The problem is modulus 30 isn't going to work. Could get us really close though. So we need to do like a count of the lines. It's like, oh, I got an idea. What if we do new number variable called, close out of this, current value. Okay. And to give it a better name, we'll call it current length value. And so what I'm thinking we do is we then set current length value to be the length of display me after it's done with this. And then what this allows us to do is check this length. And oh, what if we did, oh, that might actually be way easier. Okay, let's try something easier, sorry. Let's go delete this, create a new number called max column character count. This is going to be so much easier. Okay, so we do max column character count. I want to rename this to column character width. So this defines how wide each column can be. And we're going to say 30. And then we want to know how many lines you can have. 30 times 10 is 300, so 30 times 30. So we want to do max rows. Okay, so we do max rows. And click confirm. And we're also going to set this to 30. So 30 times 30 is 900, which does kind of defeat the purpose of our max character count. But we do need to make sure this stops before we hit that limit. So maybe this is okay. So maybe instead of having a max rows, we just stop once this reaches the end. That might be the best way to do that. Okay, so then what we're going to do is also create a new string list, which will have all of the different sets of stars. So this will be called star rows, and confirm. And so we say if I'm kind of debating this still. Ooh, actually I have a way better way of doing this. Oh, I got to bring it back. I just deleted it, but now I need it back. We need that row count. So the max rows. Confirm. We are going to delete this max character count, but you do need to be aware that there's a 900 limit. So it's worth, or it's like 1,000, but 900 makes it safe. So the max rows is 30 because you're also going to have breaks between each rows. So max rows 30. And so what this is going to do is not length less than, it's going to do the length of the list. So we'll go down to the list where we can get length. length of star rows. And as long as that is less than max rows, we're good. So then what we can do, which I think is a little bit easier, is we're going to do a similar thing up here with a while, where we say while this is less than, we're going to go grab the less than symbol. So while display_me is less than the column character width. And so we need to get the length of display_me. So we got to go back to the string section to grab that length of string. So while length of string display_me is less than column character width, we can then set display_me to this. We also need to clear display_me at the beginning of this. So we're going to actually clear it out by grabbing a empty string value from over here. So that will clear out that. And then set display_me to display_me plus symbol plus spacer. And then what we're going to do is actually add this to the list. So we say add to list. So we add display_me to the star rows list, and then display_me on self, which will show the current row. But then over here, we want to do an else statement that says send display when this is done loading. So we'll send display, new event. Yeah, I feel like this is a lot easier than the first star script. I know it might seem very complicated, but thanks for tuning in and checking it out. But I do think this is a lot easier than the original star script. So we're sending display to self, and then when event display is received, this is going to display this list of strings. And so the way to do that is to say while, and then we're going to grab a greater than symbol. And what we're checking is the length of the star rows. And so we're saying while the length of star rows is greater than 0, meaning there's still items in the list, we're going to then add those to the display_me. So we need to just clear display_me again at the beginning of this. So we set display_me to 0, and then we're going to set display_me to be plus. We're going to grab this from up here in this other while loop. Sorry, I got a little cough tonight. So then we're going to set display_me to be plus item at index 0. So going to the list section, we can pull the item from the list that's at index 0, which is get item from list. Putting that onto the right side, we'll put the number 0 in here. The list is the star rows list. And then right below here, you'll see remove item at index from list, which we'll put right at the bottom. And we're going to remove that item now that we have added it to the display_me. Now, the other thing we need to do is add a break. So we're going to duplicate this here, delete this, and then put the break symbol that we typed out as a variable into the right side. Oops, undo. Into the right side of this. And so this adds this to display_me, then it adds a break, and then it keeps going. Okay, so that works really well. And that then needs to display as soon as it's done. So we say display_me at the end of the while loop. So it'll update that and display it on the text object. Okay, so that should give us a grid of periods right now. Let's give it a try. See if I missed something. I very well might have. Oh, there it is. Wow, that was fast. There you have a grid of periods. Interesting that there are 4 missing here at the bottom. Oh, no, they're not. It's not 4. It's a whole line missing. So we must have gone over the character count limit. So that sounds about right. Let's go ahead and change this from 30 down to like 25 by 25 might be a good idea. So we'll try 25 by 25. There we go. And column character width less than max rows. Okay. And let's go ahead and hit play. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Perfect. So now we got a 25 by 25. We'll notice that the spacing is spaced with tabs. So there are larger spaces there. So we might consider to make this more of a grid, giving bigger spaces between the lines. So what I'm going to suggest we do is add another element here. So you remember where we were setting display_me to be empty? Let's create a new variable. And this is going to be called top beginning string. So this is the beginning string that goes to the beginning of each of these, which is going to be a line height. So it's line dash height equals, and we'll try, I don't know, this is going to be, man, I really don't know. Let's throw this in here for now. I think it needs a pound symbol. We'll just hit play and see what happens. Oh, wow, that's really big. Well, 2 was too much. Let's try 0.2. And I'm worried that this is in meters is my concern. So I'm currently at 1x right here. Dun, 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 dun. That's better. So then the question is, if I duplicate this and then scale it down, does it stay at the same? So it just loaded and it does. Okay. So that might be good. Okay, we'll use 0.2. Booyah. So we've got a number in there that seems to be working. I don't know why there's a slash in there. Let's go backspace that. Make sure that stays the same, and it does. We could even do like 0.25 might be a little bit more accurate. There we go. Nice. Okay. So now that we got perfect cubes, we now need to make it an if else whether or not it displays the symbol or if it skips and only does the space. And so what we want to do is grab an if statement here into our while loop up here. And then we're going to do this or this. So one option is that we place a star, and the else option is that we don't place a star and instead we only place the space. And so with that, we can then go into our if and run a dice roll, basically is what we want to do here. And so we're going to say if the value is less. So sorry. I might need to get some water or something. I'm shocked at this throat tickle. So we're going to say less than 1. What this means is that the random value we roll has to be 0. So we go up to our operators tab and then grab a random number, not random number with decimals, just a regular random integer. And we're going to run this between 0 and 5. So there's a 20% chance of getting a 0. It doesn't include the 5, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 are the possible options. And so that's a 1 in 5 chance. Go ahead and, oh, it's already loaded. There you go. You can see the very first star grid. Let's darken the world so you can see that better. Go gizmos, environment. There we go. And let's go to midnight black. There we go. So that is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool starting point. We'll notice that these are not nearly as wide, which is interesting. So that's gotta be because why is that? They're not going as wide. The tabs. What's wrong with the tabbing? Let's try this again. Script, stop, and play. That is so weird that they're not super wide. They're super long. It's not bad, and I kind of like that there's this offset here too, so it's not perfect. It's not a perfect grid, which kind of makes them look a little more natural, which I really like. There's this weird chance of there being 4 in a row, which is like crazy. Can't believe that happened. So what I'm thinking we do is run a second if inside of here. Let's go duplicate and then drag that inside and then grab another else. And then what I'm thinking we do is have a double space in one of these and make it a 1 in 2 chance so that the spacing is different. This really shouldn't change much, but let's go delete this, add space there, put that into there. Perfect. Okay, so we've added an extra space 50% of the time. And it also means there will be less stars, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of like lower the opportunity of there being 3 in a row, which we're still seeing, but it's not as intense. The other thing we could do is change this to be like between 0 and 10, so it's half as likely. Okay, there we go. Now we've got a little less stars, which is kind of nice. So normally this is where I'd create a variable for like star frequency over here, and just I don't want to like, it's kind of hard to explain what star frequency is. So what you can do is you can say like percentage, right? So we go to 100 and then we change the number 1 to be a percent. So we say percent star chance. So we'll call this star chance. And then we'll set it to be 10%. So 10. And people will just have to understand that this is in percentage when they see the number 10. And so then we can drop that into here. Oh, excuse me, wrong spot. Into here and to here. And then this is also doing that 100% chance. Well, we don't really need that. Let's go ahead and delete that. Now that we made it 10%, this is just half as likely already. So that's pretty good. I don't know why it's not long enough. So let's just go to our character width length and change this up to like 40. And I think it's going to get cut off at the end. But that looks a lot better in terms of like the scale of that. Okay. So now that we've got this thing generating stars that look pretty good, I'm not sure about this length though. I'm trying to make it into a perfect cube every time, but it seems to not always like the cubing. Let's go stop this for a second. So we say max rows is less than that. So we're checking rows here. Up here, we're checking column character width, which I've set to 40. Let's go set it to 60 then. See and play. Is that more of a square? That seems to have broken because it was too many things running inside of a while loop. So the while loop broke. Let's go change that back to 50. Try going down by 10 and play. There it goes. Okay, so 50 seems to be the most we can do with our while loop. And that's more square than it was before, so I'm okay with that. Let's also debug print the current length of display me at the very end so we have an idea of what we're getting to. Debug print display me. Oh, length of display me, excuse me. Let's go grab length of from up here, drag that to the bottom. So at the very end, it's going to tell us what the final length was, which we can see is 1,000. Oh, snap, that's not good. That's 1,000. Is it always 1,000? That's too many. That means we're losing lines. So mathematically that makes sense because we added so many more to the column width. So we need to change the row down to like 20 and then probably drop this down to 45. And let's see if that's under 1,000. Excuse me. So I want to get this under 1,000. 998. There we go. Okay. So what happens if it's over that 1,000 limit is sometimes you'll have like a break there and it'll break the break. And so I think this is also still too close to the limit. Yeah, well, it's 999 that time. 997. Wow, that is right on the limit. I don't want to be right on the limit, so I'm going to drop this. Let's make sure our thing's in a cube. Let's see. Got pretty nice shape there, but it's got more rows. So let's drop the rows down to 18 and hit play. 899. There we go. 900. That's more like what I was looking for. Stop, clear, and play. Perfect. Okay. 900 feels pretty safe. I'd be pretty okay going with 19, I think is good. Go ahead and see that's 950. Yeah, so because this column character width of 45, you're adding to it with the 4 character break, which comes out to 49 multiplied by that, which is why it's coming out at 950. So that's perfect, exactly where I want that to be. Go ahead and delete that and save this as an asset, stars 2.0, and create. There we go. I forgot to save the text object as part of that asset. So let's see if I can play the world. Duplicate this text object. Then go to the asset library, information, edit, change selection, select, and confirm, and update. There we go. So new star script, really happy with it. And what's really cool about this is every time you duplicate the script, you get a new copy, and then you can remove the script from it if you like that star. I don't actually like this set of stars, so we're going to do another one. And I think I like this one the best, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this one and then remove the script from this one, and this is one that we'll use. We could do more. Our picture does have quite a few stars in it, so we should try to really amp up the stars in this picture. So this is the background that's going to have the most stars. We're going to start with this kind of like thicker starscape, which does kind of bleed over a little bit. So we'll go ahead and center that here, pull that out. There we go. And then we're going to keep doing that if I can find the other stars. They're pretty small, which I kind of like. I'm kind of a fan of what we're seeing here. Let's go do another one. It's not bad. Let's do another one. Select and deselect. There it goes. Nice. That's a good one. Okay, let's go select these two and remove the script from both of them. There we go. And then somehow I want to put these in at an angle so that they're kind of like crossing each other in a funky way so it doesn't start to look like a grid if we put too many of these on there. And so I want to maybe take some of these like this. And I notice there's some extra small stars in some of these spaces, so I'm thinking that's totally going to look good. Let's go and drag this into here, select it so I can pull it out so it's not Z-ripping, then slide that in fully. Perfect. Then we'll do the same thing with, where'd it go? There it is. And we'll do the same thing with this one, but over here on more of this side, maybe more like towards the center. There we go. That is looking pretty decent for a starting starscape. Let's go and see that in person. Yeah, really enjoying that. That's got some nice shimmer to it. Definitely looking pretty good. We're gonna have to scale this up pretty massively, and we definitely need to add some more stars. So let's keep going. Nope, don't like that one. Let's try another one. And that might work. Another one. Okay. And another one. Okay. And another one. What's crazy is these stars are usually so like unique, you don't really need to make a unique one. I know a lot of people will just take one set of stars and then use that. I know I've done that many times myself. And so just going to this extent is just a little extra, but I think it's not a bad thing. Okay, this is kind of hard to find them all. Okay, we're going to start right here on this side. Okay. Pull it out so it's not Z-ripping. There we go. Slide that to the left. Okay, good. Let's get another one. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this one because I am done after this. This is plenty of stars. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and snap this one on nice and square like the previous. I think we could even rotate it maybe just a hair like that. Nice. There we go. Filling up some of those higher spots there. Pulling it out. There we go. Very cool. I think we got a couple more in here. Yep. So let's go ahead and take this one up to this top corner, I think would be good. More like that even. Very cool. Looking good. And then let's go fill in this last one right here in this area. Let's kind of give this a little bit more right there. Maybe even in the opposite direction of our first one that we put in there, like that, at that angle. Perfect. Okay. That is a beautiful starscape. That is wonderful. That is really cool. Awesome. So that really does replicate what we were going for there. Now let's go ahead and take our star script. We've saved it to the asset library, so don't really need it. I'm going to go put this up here. Now, it's a little dark in this world, and you don't really want to build in the dark. At least that's what I've been told. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the midnight black since we don't need to see the stars anymore. Back to daytime. There we go. And so this next thing we want to do is kind of put in sort of like plaza. I know that sounds terrible, but I definitely think we put in like a little plaza in this area for kind of a viewing perspective. And that's going to be pretty cool. And I kind of want this background to be less blocky. Or I want it to be blocky. I want it to be more blocky, actually. So there's two options. We either go with so if you figured this out yet, we're building a really cool background here that's also going to fill the atmosphere. And it's based off of a classic image. And so I've got two variations of it that I'm looking at. One that has day on the left and night on the right, and the other has it reversed. And oh yeah, we haven't even added the sun, so we should go do that real quick, since we can do a really cool trick with the sun. Speaking of, let's go grab a sphere. Sphere is going to look great for our sun. Whoa, why is it just... Please tell me there's no like hidden objects here, right? It's like it won't come out. There we go. And so we need the sun up in here. It does have a light amount of yellow, more yellow in one than the other. So we'll go to unlit, yellow, just a little bit, really high. There we go. And that looks pretty good. This goes up and into here, but we also want to flatten it up a little bit. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. And then I think we're really missing the visual effect that needs to go along with it, which is going to look really cool. So let's go and pull out. I wonder if I have that in my asset library. I built this effect recently that does it slower. Might not be in here. Yeah, it's not. That's okay. I built this really cool, but we'll just go with the default for now. So gizmos, particle effects, and we're going to go put this on the magic build up on looping and play on start. There we go. So that's going to be the rays of our sun. There we go. And put that right in there. We flatten it out a little bit more. It's a little big, I think. So let's go shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so now when we come in, we have really massive sun, but this is going to be further back, so I don't know that that's that bad. From here, looking at the picture, it is still a little big, so let's go shrink it down just a hair. Okay. Actually going to group this together, open up the properties panel, so we can shrink them at the same time to a percentage, like 0.6. That'll be 60% the size of its current, and it stays in the right position, which is nice. And that didn't save 0.6. There we go. And with that done, we can actually select it and then ungroup it, and we still have access to both objects pretty easily. Very cool. I think that's KO calling. It is. Yes?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I am.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Yep.
never mind.
Bye.
I was going to ask you what hair color you wanted to get.
Oh, we can do that another time. Lol. Bye for now. Okay. That sun is looking really good, so we've got that in there now. And we're going to need some buildings, and just trying to look at some of the other little pieces here. Again, that plaza is going to be really important. I'm really curious how we're going to wrap this around. It's like you can do it in a video, so I don't think anyone's guessed, but I'm going to quickly share screen so you can see what we're doing here. Desktop capture. And if you did guess correctly, good job. Let's see. Oh, it's so weird, you guys. I'm not getting your guys' chat messages. Oh, that's so frustrating. I'm so sorry, guys. It's like it was here in VR with me, but until I opened it on my desktop, it wasn't loading. Hey, Lakes. Thanks, Aaron, for being here. Yes, I do have a spot for people to join. Hi, Cody. Hi, Katie. Oh my gosh. I swear that this thing has been backed up the last couple times, but thank you so much for commenting. I'll send out some invites if anybody's interested in joining. Just, oh wait, I'm not the creator. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Oculus is the creator of this world. Well, I guess you can join with me here in this stream, but I'm sorry. But I would love to have you guys here in the future, so we'll have to ask Oculus. But basically, I was hoping you'd guess, but if you did guess, good job. And if you didn't guess, here's what we're working on. We are building the Horizon logo and there it is. And this stuff from their promos. So all their promo images here is kind of what we're looking at trying to recreate. And so it's easy for them to put it on a 2D screen and be like, oh, this is so cool. But the hard part is really going to be getting it to wrap around the world. And so this is unlit, which has the benefit that we can do this and kind of like create a 360-degree space. And then, you know, slide this over this way. So like theoretically it's possible. But I'm still just like, how are we going to do this? And so you can see we've done some really cool effects to create gradients on these unlit objects, which creates that sort of like aesthetic. Oh, right, you can't see VR. I'll switch you back. So we'll go back to here, and there we go. So you can see we've got these really cool gradients for like the sky gradient, just like in the photos, and the yeah, this is a pretty serious task. There's so many cool things, and I haven't seen this in Horizon yet, so I'm like really excited to try and build it. Basically, Horizon World Tours is a place where we're constantly showing off Horizon, and it just felt like the right space to try and design the next Horizon World Tours to match this aesthetic. So that's kind of what we're going for. And then trying to make it also feel like, oh, we're in a 360-degree space that was previously only 2D, I think is going to be really cool too. So kind of imagining what the other 180 degrees looks like. And so here we can see that the skybox looks really good. We're getting a little bit of shadow in the corners because of our fog density. So we're going to go turn down the fog density from 0.1 to there. Okay. And now the corners more or less blend there and there, so that's good. We have this light box in the center, and it's bleeding over on these edges, so I need to go change down the distance so it doesn't bleed. And so that dynamic light is how we're casting. Where's that dynamic light? It is down here. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to ground level so we can see it. And then we're going to take this fall off distance down to like 38, I think, and then bring this into here, something like that. And I think that's going to give us the look we're going for. It's closer. It's not perfect. It's definitely close. And theoretically, we're building buildings here, so maybe we're fine. Let's go 45. Let's try a 45 for the fall off distance. And let's also put it behind. Does that work? Can I? Oh no, it can't be put behind. So it does have to be right there. We're not using, yeah, we're using point light. So it goes in all directions. We could use a spotlight to only shine it in one direction, which would be maybe helpful. So if we rotate it like that, then we get a little bit more options for like spread. So we can spread it out as far as we want. And unfortunately, though, that does mean we need to kind of go backwards or maybe upwards to get the distance we're looking for on this. But it does mean we're not getting the light bleeding onto these other edges, so it feels more like we're actually in a globe. So in their photo, they've got these buildings that kind of like hide this edge. And so I'm not sure what we're going to do about the sky edge as it kind of blends itself across. And so we'll have to take a look at that and kind of imagine, but I'm really happy with the way the stars are coming out over here. We're definitely going to want to cover more of this area in stars. I'd really like to remove that edge on the top. And the edge on the top is being caused by this dynamic light. So if I rotate it downward like that, we can start to get rid of that. But now we got a hot spot down here. So definitely a lot of playing around. So I'm thinking we go point light again and change our fall off distance, start at 45, slide it over here, slide it down to there, and back into here, maybe right about there. And so we just got to keep people back from this edge so it's mostly viewed from afar. Definitely some tricks and things we're going to be playing with to get this to work right. So I'm thinking intensity goes all the way up, then distance can go down, and that gets us really close. We could also just raise the ceiling, I suppose. So that could do. Did I get the ceiling? There we go. Oh, and I selected the dynamic light. Select and up. That could also help us remove that edge that we were seeing. Okay. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now we can't see that top edge, so it still feels like we're there. We're gonna need to make the stars wrap and quite a few other things. That's really bright. So I think definitely gonna have to make this space bigger, but the usable space for the world will be here, but we're gonna probably scale up this box that we're inside of. Okay. I can now see your messages coming in, so that's awesome. And I am going to use the restroom real quick, grab some water for my throat, and I will be right back. And thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I will leave you with kind of an image of where we're going on the screen so you can see what we're working on. Let's go. Boop, boop. And this button, and if I minimize this, I think you guys can see that. Perfect. Cool beans. All right, I'll be right back. Am I here? Am I here? Testing. Ah, my audio is going through. Wow, that almost never works. Almost always when I come back, I have to reset everything. So super glad to be back. All my stuff's here too, and you guys are here. Great to have you guys still. Thanks for sticking around. And let me go ahead and quickly switch us back into Horizon Worlds. There we are. Perfect. And what else are we missing? Boom. I just wanted to double check that the chat message window is still working. It seems like I have to leave it open. Windowception. Welcome, Just Ask Carlos, also known as Oculos 410. Great to have you. I am experiencing a little bit of lag on my Horizon World, so I might just quickly close and reopen it. Oculus, would you be opposed to adding a few collaborators, or are you not not at your headset right now? I'm missing something. What am I missing? Oh, it's like, it looks perfect for you guys on on the screen, but like on my side, it's super laggy. So I'm just trying to close Horizon, which is surprisingly hard to figure out how to do. I feel like I've lost my mind. There we go. So Horizon's closed. You should still be able to hear me, but you can't see anything, which will just take a second to fix. Library. Oh, this thing is all over. Got it. Oh, I figured it out. We're all good. I hope Pirate J doesn't catch you building off the grid. Have you guys seen that video? That was the funniest thing today. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. Sensei J and Oculus were talking about how my controllers were flickering and they were so upset. And I was like, okay, go make a video on it. I mean, if you guys are that upset. So they did, and it turned out so well. I was just shocked at how funny that was. It was like, this is so good. So in case anybody thought I got offended, I was not offended. I enjoyed the video very, very much. It's all in good spirits. Dun, 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 wow. I don't know why music is stuck in my head. I don't even know what that song is. All right, here we are. Unable to travel. What? That's not fun. Try that again. Is it because I'm like, it thinks I'm there, but I'm not really there? Do I need to go to the real Plaza and come back? I wish you guys could see my setup here in VR. It's so cool. So I've got the chat message from you guys coming in over here. I've got the live stream window up here. I've got OBS was around here somewhere. OBS must have closed, but I did have that open. And then I've got 3 images in here that I can use for reference, which is super cool. Okay, so we're super happy with the starting point here, but it does need to go back further. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of this. These stars really need to be grouped. Let's start with the stars. So I'm going to grab all the stars, deselect this, and group the stars together. So now it's just one giant group of stars, which is nice. Okay, and then maybe I will group the sun. Let's make it non-collidable first. Light and shadow off. There we go. Select, group. Basically making these things into smaller assets. It's going to make my life a lot easier later on. There we go. When we need to move it around or adjust anything. So selecting, 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 and sliding. There we are. That is looking pretty nice. That's a good distance, I think. And I suspect once we drag this over to here, we're going to be in a good spot. So the question is, of course, like, how... Don't catch them building off the grid. This is too funny. I built it. It's off the grid. Don't tell anybody, but there it is. We should have some sort of like looking down, because in these, well, in one of the 2 photos, they're on a ledge. And then in the other one, there's kind of like an open space, which, coincidence, there's an open space. I do want this light to be higher so it bleeds more up. I think that's pretty good. Yep. And I also know that we only have an hour and a half till the event starts. And if you aren't aware, there's a live stream happening tonight at 7 p.m. We'll be sharing the link, Oculus and myself, on Facebook. It's a Facebook live stream. And so we hope you'll join us for that. Should be pretty cool. So what I wanted to do first was just kind of start sketching out the idea here so that we can work backwards. So let's go and just wanted to think about I'm looking at two images, which is making this kind of hard because I'm like, which image do I go off of? And I want to go off the one on the left because of how much more geometrically less complex it is, and it's more like a backdrop, which will give us more items to use for the foreground. And then using the one on the right to design the foreground image is what I'm thinking. So it's kind of like maybe multiple pieces of a puzzle. So this one for the background is going to be this piece. It's just kind of like filling in some sketching here, right? So we're just imagining sketching out. There's that. Then there's another tower that's kind of like down here, but it's more like that. And this is pretty wide, but it's not that wide. And then this tower is overlapping it just a hair. There's a bridge that leads from that tower going over. So we'll go grab that. Bridge comes down midway like that, which leads to another tower right like here, which is actually substantially far away from that building, like almost like that. So we're gonna need to rotate this inward and stretch. There we go, very nice. So now we got that little bridge. The bridge is kind of thin right there, and the bridge also has several pillars in it. So we're gonna go grab this, set that in the center, make sure it's actually centered, perfect. And then array tool, and we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. There's 4. So then we'll select them and stretch them out till we get them nice and centered as we like. There we go. I could even snap this to the center if I really wanted to. So we'll maybe even do that. Although I think I did like it a little more to the left, actually. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Now this building here, it's actually more like this, but then it's got a dome on top of it. So we're gonna grab a half cylinder, and I'm usually the last person to grab one of these, but just for our sketch, I'm not sure I'm actually gonna use this, we'll see. That goes up like that. And then what's really cool is this has like a little platform coming off the edge, but it's more of an upwards platform, but it also jets out a little bit. So let's jet out a little bit like this. So it kind of feels like this is going across the whole space. This is almost like a little, like one of those, right? So it goes across over to here, and then there's a triangle like this, which is going to be more like that. Okay. Let's see if I snap that there, slide it over to here, then stretch to there. And that's starting to look pretty good. So we'll stretch that into here. And it's actually a little bit thinner, more like that. And so there we go. That's better. Cool. So now we're starting to get some sort of structures and shapes here, which I think are looking nice. It's definitely not perfect, but it's a good starting point. And just kind of like thinking about how this overall piece comes together. There's a lot of smaller pieces in the background too. And I think for those, we can actually just grab something like a capsule and stretch this capsule out for some of these buildings that have this roundedness. Roundedness? Yeah. No, not that rounded. More like that rounded, yeah. And let's go and stretch that into place. So these are smaller buildings, kind of like that, and skinnier than that though, quite a bit skinnier, which is why the capsule works for it, because you can't see the whole structure. Yeah. And now there are some like lines and things and little bits of art, but we might come back and do that with text. It's kind of hard to say at this point, just depends on our capacity and what we've got left. Now next to this, there's a neighbor sphere building that has kind of a similar shape, but it's smaller. And then it tops off with this interesting sphere, like observatory perhaps. There we go. And then there's also another kind of building like this going through here, more at an angle like that. So it kind of has some dimension to it. And that's not bad. But I do think we should select all of these and slide those down. Okay, so from here, we don't have the perfect perspective yet. So we need to find a place that's going to be the viewing perspective of this view, because this is where people are going to want to take their selfies, right? Like you got to imagine this is what people are like, oh my gosh, I went to the place, the thing, the one, the the thing from the videos and the stuffs, and they're like, this is so cool. So that is what this platform is going to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and select all of this and then slide this over because this building is the one that goes right up the center, right up like that. So we're going to go ahead and spawn in here, and that's it. You nail that picture, and we just need to make sure to adjust the perspective from right about here. Let's go make sure this is at the 0, 0 mark. So I'm going to snap it right onto the top of this guy, or like that, maybe. That did not work. More like that. That's good. Okay, so now I've got that. We'll slide this guy up. Oculus is wondering when I'm going to use Platonic 01. We'll get there. We'll get to Platonic 01. So now we've got the perspective we're looking for. So there's a few things I definitely need to shift. Like this could go over to the left just a hair. And so we're going to slide that over just a hair instead of hair. And then these two were too far this way. So I'm thinking we slide those back like that. And check that out. Very nice. Now they're definitely closer together. We just got to start patching in some more of the buildings. There's some really cool aesthetics in here to keep working through, and that's what we're going to do. Boom, and slide. Okay, next up, there was another one of these, which doesn't have that, and this goes over here, and it's really small compared to that one, substantially. It's more like a jukebox, actually, in sort of its shape, and it's right on the edge, this area. So we got this guy, and it's fun how they've got these really unique geometric shapes, and I think we should try to emulate that. So the way we do that is we start by grabbing two shapes, and normally I'd say grab a cube, but because Platonic 01 is actually less geometrically complex, we'll grab one of these. So then we select these two together, and we're actually going to start by flattening them. So let's go and drag this down to here and drag this one to here. And so this is a really cool trick. If you've never done this before, pay attention and try this out as soon as possible because it's really cool. So you select these two, then we group it together by thumbsticking to the left. Then we open up the properties panel, zoom into the group, delete this guy, zoom out of the group. And then what we can do is scale this back up to here. And then we're going to zoom back into the group. So we'll zoom in. And then all we have to do is rotate along two axes. So we rotate along this axis here to get the first slant, and then we're going to rotate along this axis here to get the next slant. And I realize that's pretty close to what we're going for. So it's like that. Yeah, that's the shape. And we can just stretch that down and zoom out of the group. And so this grouping is skewed, which allows us to create really cool skewed shapes like this. And I'm mostly happy with that, but there's a little bit off. So let's zoom back in and make one more adjustment, which is around this axis. There it is, right about there. And then I think we need to stretch this side out just a little bit. Maybe even stretch this guy back in. Just kind of, no, actually, yeah, more like that, I guess. And we will slide this over like that. Yeah, that's the shape. So we'll zoom out. Oh, wrong button. There we go. So now we've got that shape in there, which looks super duper cool, very futuristic. And got to get that boombox actually up a little bit. We need to create some more buildings in here. So we'll slide this up. Gonna go grab this guy and back here. So again, just sketching right now. I know it's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but it's important to like sketch these positions out, kind of get a really good idea of where we're going, and then we can make it better after we're done. So let's slide that to there, slide this up, snap this over to here, and that looks pretty close to that. What I really want to do is actually take this guy up to here and this guy up to there, then stretch this over to here. And the benefit of doing this is now we can just slide this one axis down to create the rest of the building, which looks really cool. Although I am noticing that if we undo this, we could actually indent this in, which creates a really cool aesthetic that I'm also noticing that this building has without costing us any more geometry. And so that's actually really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Now there's this really weird thing that looks like a spaceship or a dome or something. And I'm kind of debating just removing it because it's like, But it's kind of cool, but it's also kind of not. I mean, we got to do the ribbon. It's this ribbon shape. So let's first start by building the tower that it sits on. So it sits on a tower that's slightly higher than this. It's just off to the left of this guy. It's definitely not that thick, but it is pretty thick. And then from here, it doesn't actually go all the way down, which is also interesting. There is another like structure coming out of the back end of this right about here, which then stretches down. Oops, undo, select, and down. And then this structure does have a kind of like a thing coming out of it from here, which seems to connect into the jukebox actually, which tells me that this needs to go further back. And this needs to actually go backwards and over into here. Nice. We'll stretch this in, slide this over, slide that over, slide that down. Now slide this up actually, just most of the way up. And that connects into, maybe this needs to go down a little bit further. Slide down. That connects into right about there. Then this guy comes down all the way. But it actually kind of gets wider, doesn't it? Like right about, right below this, it actually kind of picks up some width. So I'm thinking, actually take this back to the center of this shape here, select it, check out that, it's looking pretty good, and then that slides all the way down. And I do think this kind of also continues all the way down as well, giving it that aesthetic. Now there is another kind of like bald shape over here, which is cool. So let's go ahead and grab this and drop it in here, which is actually right about at that height. And then these balls stack on top of each other. So we're gonna just slide, turn off snapping, and they sit right about there. Oops, undo. Try that again. Duplicate, slide, and then array tool. I think they're a little further apart than that, so I'm just gonna undo that one more time. Just kind of an eyeball job here so they have enough touching, but they're not snapped to be just barely. There we go. That's exactly the aesthetic. Okay. So that's cool. And then there is another like little thing on top of this, and it's so skinny. So skinny. I think we should just use Platonic 01 actually. Let's go ahead and grab that guy. This is usually called gray boxing. So in case you're wondering, it's all gray. I mean, that's kind of a thing that people usually do to when they're starting out. So this one being blue is going to change back to gray. And that is about the right height there. So there we go. There we have it. So that's looking pretty nice. Now there's a person actually blocking this from being viewed, but I imagine there would actually be more like another building here. So let's just go and grab another one of these, which looks nice. And maybe we'll actually stack that up. That's kind of a cool look. And then there is another building coming out of the edge here, which goes behind, skinnier, and up higher, coming out of right about there. There we are. Then we want to razor blade that on the top, which is going to be this guy. So we're going to slide that in, snap this to here. I do think this is kind of cool having a little flat surface there. It's not exactly clear because it's so far away in the image, but like it's more like that. And then this kind of goes up like that. And then this is actually a lot thinner as a piece. It's more like that. There we go. Very cool. Very cool. So we still have to go build that ribbon that's going to squeeze through here. And then there's this kind of like bulbous shape on top that I'm really not desiring to build. But let's start with this piece here as the basis for this shape. And it is definitely round. And it's round enough that it comes out like that. So, but it's also more flat like this. So let's see if we can't snap that into the top of this. From the center into here. Nice. Not bad at all. Okay, not bad at all. This does need to go down a little bit more flat. That's looking good. And there's this piece on the side here that I think is kind of interesting. If we duplicate this coming off right around in this area, And it's actually substantially lower, right about there. And then this piece is actually really thin and goes up like that. And then this is going to stretch. Yeah, it does only stretch down to about there. And then there's something connecting it back here. Well, I'd imagine there is, but it's not shown. We're just going to drag it all the way down. This is fine. It's turtles all the way down, guys. Just kidding. Yeah, it doesn't actually show anything there. It just kind of... Yeah. Okay. So from the perspective here, this is where we're at. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Thank you, Cody. I'm glad you're liking it. So we need to go build that dome on the top, and that's going to have some antennas. There's definitely a lot more like shapes and geometry that goes into the center of this. We're missing a few towers along the edges here. Definitely some more towers there, and I think we should actually give this a better shape. I really sketched that super quick and janky, but it really has more of one of these. Well, I'm just going to duplicate that for this. And that is just the top piece of this. Now it is substantially taller than this guy, like by about that much. It does have an antenna coming off the top of it, so we'll go ahead and grab one of these guys. And that comes out of right around in here. It's so hard to get this thing. How big is this antenna? I guess it's pretty big. Slide it down. And I guess this isn't actually that much of an edge. It's like, it's an edge, but it's not that much of an edge. It's more like that. And then there's another flat piece that's going to connect to it. Right there. Which brings it all the way down. And then this, we said, goes here. Okay. We'll be okay with that. And then there are more buildings that kind of connect into this. So from the edge, you have, actually go ahead and slide this over to here and slide this down. That'll look better. From this edge, we're going to have something that goes roughly to this height. And then there's another one of like an inverse of these. In fact, I'd say it's very similar because it's got all three of these pieces, but it goes the opposite direction. This is on the top edge, so we're going to just... Okay. And then it's also much wider, so we'll stretch that out to here, stretch that up. There we go. Now selecting all three of these, we can place this right next to this over here. Oopsie daisy. There's a little bit more of a gap in this section, so I might need to figure out how to space this out some more. Or maybe if I select this and this and this and this and this, and then deselect that, we can slide that over just a hair. I think that'll do the trick. Yep. Let's take this and just kind of add some more geometry. And so sometimes there's less geometry, but because we have extra shapes, we might as well add additional geometry. It's like, why not add more when you can? Boom, that's looking good. And we also have on this side, the piece that I haven't worked on yet is a rounded upwards edge. It's like, this is actually a shape we just got from our new asset library. And while I am being very careful to use some of these, there is a cone half. What's interesting though is if you don't need the other half, you might as well use the cone round. I think I need to pull out the geometry chart to really show this off. Assets, GeoReference 2.0. Here it is. Okay. Oh, it's loading. Oh my gosh, it's massive. And it's upside down. Let's maybe put it outside of our cube. So over here, what you'll see is that the round, that's a half sphere. Let's see, where did they put the round? Oh, here's a cone round half. Never mind. That never happens. That never happens. Okay, so here you have the cone round. It's actually worse than the cone round half. That never happens. That's crazy. Um, so here you've got the half sphere, which might actually be the right approach because it's more efficient, substantially more efficient, by like 3 objects. We could also use this one. Yeah, okay, so there's definitely just a variety of objects to use, and we're going to delete the cone round and instead go with the, I think we might actually use the most efficient shape, which is the sphere. So we're trying to make this world 32 players, which doesn't give us a lot of capacity. So you can see there's not a lot of geo and simulation to use. And so every single player counts. And so we can pull this up like this and then stretch it in, and you start to get the shape of a cone. We can then snap it to right there, snap it to there, snap it to there. And that's looking pretty decent. We do have kind of an edging issue here, but what I think we can do to kind of fix that is we grab a cylinder, which is super efficient, and that's going to give us a nice round edge, which we can then snap to the center of this, which will actually look really good, I think, when you get the perimeter edge like that. That actually looks really cool. And then we'll drag that down. So yeah, I'm not like concerned about it being exact. I'm really just trying to make it similar. So that to me is pretty good. And maybe we'll even drag this forward a little bit and kind of really make it stand out. Maybe a little smaller. Okay, I'm realizing that doesn't look, that looks very, very much not appropriate now that I'm looking at it. Let's go slide it back into the wall. That's better. Okay, nobody ever look at that. That never happened. Maybe I'm actually going to select this sphere and stretch it to the edges so it's less. Yep. I think that's better. Yep, that's better. No one's ever going to notice. Okay, we've just like completely backtracked there. Okay, so that looks really good. Also, we got some messages coming in. Cody says, of course, I'm currently building an arena clash and listening and watching. That's awesome. Love that. JC says, you know they got rid of the Platonic 01. That's 100% per 1%. No, they didn't. We literally just pulled it out of like 30 minutes ago. We just pulled it out. You go to the worlds, shapes, type in PLA. There's Platonic 01 right there. I'm I'm like, let me know if I'm missing something, JC, but it's right there. So, like what? So the next thing we need to do is work on this top kind of rounded edge here. That's so weird that you don't see it in your world shapes. Definitely take a look and see if it's there. It's in the asset section under shapes, and you might have to scroll through it. It's PLATONIC_01. Yeah, no worries, you're good. It is a crazy shape. If you saw one of the other streams, we had 8,000 of them at one time in the world. It was insane. Okay, so the next shape we need is going to be something to go on top of this. Well, we could get a pretty realistic shape using these guys. There's some really cool shapes in here, like the cone round. I'm thinking maybe we go with the sphere again because it's more efficient. And efficiency is what we are all about here. So I'm going to stretch this out and then snap it to the center, which isn't even that important because we're just going to snap everything to the edges after we're done. So snapping. Oh, you know what? This won't work because of that, huh? We're going to see this in just a second why this won't work. See, because it goes underneath and we need that hard edge. So the next most efficient shape, according to our chart here, is the half sphere. Yep, we're going to go with half sphere. That'll do. So back on in, and we'll go grab the half sphere. There it is. And so it's actually the faster way is to snap it like that and then stretch to this edge. It's just harder to see the edges because you have to use your green snapping tool. There we go. And that is the first section of that kind of bulbous area. We're then going to duplicate and scale it down a little bit, just a little bit, not a ton, and then snap that to the center of this one. There we go. Now we've got that double, and then it comes out with one of these kind of like almost as a fin on top, which is cool. And so that's going to look a little like this. And then we're gonna need to go grab one of those brand new shapes that I'm super excited to use, which I'll show you in just a sec. There's a really cool new one that I think is gonna match this real well. So this slides down to about there. And then we do need an antenna coming off the top, right about there. Fantastic. Slide that in. And the next thing we need to do is grab something that's really skinny. And over here, you can see, I'm actually going to select this and ungroup it so we can easily just grab from this set. There's these guys, which are super skinny, and they're really efficient. They're just as good as any other shape. So love these. These are the new Taurus. And I'm realizing this isn't the right shape. We need it to be a half or a quarter torus, which are not as efficient, but they're not terrible. Oh, actually, the quarter's pretty good. Quarter's really good. Okay, we'll take a quarter. I'm gonna like have to rethink everything I know about shapes. I mean, these new ones are just so different in the way that they function and work. So I'm almost wondering if we want to skew this and if that would even work. So like if we take a cube, look at it like this, select, group, open, zoom in, delete cube, zoom out, and then close out of this. We could skew this to get kind of more of a macaroni sort of longer shape here, which looks nice. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And then we need this to attach to the top of this. So we're gonna have to eyeball this. Oh, maybe not. Maybe less. Oh, no, that's definitely an eyeball job here. Okay, so we're gonna eyeball this to get it right, but that's already looking really, really good. So I'm thinking down a little bit, scale a little bit that way, scale a little bit that way. And man, that is so cool. That's a pretty cool shape. I think to like help add to this aesthetic, we should take this guy and stretch it out so it kind of fills in a little bit more of that. And how far down? Oh, don't go down any further. Yeah, how's that? Nice. That's awesome. So JC says, I'm trying to get ideas for my third world build. This has given me some ideas. Thanks. Thank you. I'm glad you're having some fun. I am too. I just wanted to have some fun today and just hopped on the stream. So I'm glad you guys are joining and enjoying this. We've got Tay New Nerd. Thank you for changing your name. It's so much easier to remember your name when I can read it. He says, about to start streaming build videos too. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I know a lot of people enjoy it. It's hard to build a following, that's for sure. Which is crazy for me to be saying, but it's definitely like make sure you're doing it and just enjoying it, not necessarily because people are here. Because I've definitely done streams where there's nobody here for like 4 hours straight. So although it doesn't help that I don't do it at the same time. Any way to grab that shapes graph? I'll answer that question, but yeah, so I don't do it at a regular time, which is a big problem. I used to do it on Sundays, but I'm just really tired of like trying to keep up with the schedule and wasn't able to keep up. Like I found out today was Friday and I was like, oh yeah, it's Friday. Who knew? So it's like just kind of hard to keep up with everyday life. So the geometric complexity reference chart is a world you can search up and find in Horizon Worlds. There isn't really a way to get it other than finding Mama Brie, Dimster, myself, or Tay in person and grabbing a copy from them. They should all have a copy. But it is listed out very well and detailed in there. So when you go in, there's like text. People are just asking if they can have the asset. I'm sorry, guys. We really aren't doing that anymore just because there's oh my gosh, this is so funny. Just because it's not the easiest thing to do. So unfortunately we don't have that. I really just hope, and we're still begging on our side, I know you guys are too, on the user voice form to get asset sharing from peer to peer. And once that sets up, I'm sure it'll be so much easier for us to get you guys assets. But for now, you can find this in world, and when you go in world, you can see all the main or the original shapes have this color and the bolding, so you can tell which ones are which. And then the photos are also online, which is nice. But I really do wish we could easily give this out as an asset. It's just unfortunately not as easy as it should be. There is one that you can pull out of the asset library. It's just, I'm not really supposed to update it. Like I could, but I'd get in trouble and I don't want to get in trouble. So this is the old asset that we made. So the original version, which shows the first set. These are all your original shapes. And maybe I should just go ask them if they'll let me update it, but they were so picky. Meta's got like the biggest legal, like, oh my gosh, everything's got to be approved. So I'm not like really wanting to ask. So apologies, but I do want to just give it away once we get like an actual like free sharing asset marketplace where you can just search video and find everything that we post. That would be my dream. So hopefully we'll get that sooner than later. Okay, so the photo's coming along nicely. This is looking really good. We've got our towers coming in. This one's a little too tall, so I need to drop that down. It's a little too pointy as well, but man, this is looking really good. This is a great sketch. And so this is just the gray box stage. We're not even like finished. This is just getting the idea down on paper. So like really impressive here. Okay, so that goes up more like that. I think could probably stretch that down to more like that. Okay. And that looks much better. Perfect. Okay. That shape. So we need to put in some sort of foggy ground. I was thinking if we put in some sort of like fog here, like a foggy layer. I know that we can't like make, oh, sorry about the Z-ripping, guys. I know we can't like make fog, but I figure we can make it look like fog. And so let's imagine we drop this down like this. Maybe not that far. So like here. So this is the layer we need to stretch all of these buildings down to. So all of these are going to go down into this, what we're going to call fog layer. And so then we're going to go grab, oops. Okay, looking good. Stretch this down. Come on, stretch. There we go. Although that might have shifted that a little too much. Let's fix that real quick. There we go. And another one. There we go. Another one. Another one. Okay. Looks good. Okay, so these are all stretching down into what's going to be a fog layer. So we're going to go select the color. The color by default that I've set up here is unlit for the sky. And so we can then go change it to kind of like this gray tone, which does kind of match it a little bit. Some of them are blue. Some of them are kind of like a purplish gray. So let's go add just a little bit of color in here, just something really light, kind of like that looks nice. And then we're going to need to take these down so that it fills out this whole area. So boom, ta-da, ta-da. And so if you're curious what we have here on the outside, this is a skybox, and it allows us to make custom skies that you just wouldn't have otherwise been possible. And anybody can do this. We've been doing these for years now, so I definitely encourage you to try them out. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the grid at this point, actually. So let's go grid and turn that off. And we're going to go delete this Plutonic 01. That's Oculos's, but it's gone now. Sorry, Oculus. Okay. So that's looking really cool. The way that is, it's kind of like this off in the distance place you can imagine visiting, but you can't actually get to. It's a cool idea, and it's the start of where we're going. We've still got a lot more to do, but what I wanted to do next was add a text object. And I'm going to show you my favorite way to create text objects with opacity. You go into your asset library and search for window, and you're going to find, if you spell it correctly, unlike me, you'll find this one, transparent windows. So you grab this guy, and you can place him down here on the ground. Make sure the world is running. So we go script, and it is playing. We can then come in here and select how much opacity we want. So something like that. We also want the color to be kind of gray, but with a tint of purple. So we're going to grab just a little bit of red, a little bit of blue. We'll pull up the green to kind of gray it out a little bit. There we go. And then we can soften that more like this. There we go. So then we head into build mode, grab our duplicate tool, and just grab a copy of that. Then we open up the properties panel, remove the script, and now you have your own custom color, and we can delete this asset or save it to your asset library so you can use it later. So feel free to do that. There you go. That is how we're going to create our custom fog layer that will add some really nice aesthetic in here. So I'm going to go snap that to this corner and then snap it to this corner and slide that over to here. Okay. Now I think that might be a little too dark. And so since I don't have the access to that tool, since I've deleted it, I'm actually going to show you some really easy math on how you can adjust these. So here we can see that this is 8 digits long. So the first 2 are the red, the second 2 are the green, the third 2 are the blue, and then you've got the opacity. And so this opacity counts 0 to 9, and then it goes A, B, C, D, E, F. And so E is second to the last, so we want to go lower than that. So we're going to go down to A, and that has made it a little bit more see-through, which looks nice. And the only problem I have with it is it does feel like it's not getting darker the deeper you go. So I'm thinking, what if we duplicate and then array tool down, so you kind of get this like little aesthetic there. And that's kind of cool. I think we should lower the opacity still. So if we select through all of them, even the ground is fine. If we accidentally select the ground, that's totally fine, because when you open up the object selection, you can still adjust the text object. And so we're going to drop this from A down to like 7. And that's still not enough in my opinion. So let's actually go down to maybe more like 4. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so now it gets darker as you fall through, and then you can see that kind of like layer at the end. One problem we're having here is on the edges, you can really see the blue sky coming in. So we're going to need to figure out how to address that. Here you can see we can actually go into the fog layer, which is kind of cool. And then theoretically you'll respawn when you fall into this fog layer, which we can do by grabbing a respawn script from the asset library. Just search for the word respawn and you will find there's one in here you can pull out. So you never have to write one ever again. And there it is. Oh, that's new, a surveillance drone. Huh. That's so funny that that's what they call it, rather than calling it like drone. Does it have a camera on it? Oh, it does. Interesting. I wonder how many parts this is then on group. There's so many pieces in the asset layer. Like, look at that. That's a cool wing. I hate when they do that. That's the worst. But you could use that just like that, more or less, right? And then delete these guys. So if you really wanted to lower the capacity cost of this, you could do that. And then you could animate these with like the rotation script. Like, yeah. Oh, but it's not aligned anymore because anyway, this is cool. It's cool. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing. Cool. We're going to go ahead and keep the respawn. We do want to use that respawn point, not ours. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one and select this, moving it to the center of the platform here, sliding it up just a hair, opening the properties panel, turning spawn on start on so that it has that property set. Perfect. I don't need this piece here, but what we do need is to stretch this out across the entire floor. So floor is lava. I am wondering what to do about the edges there. I really don't have a solution yet. Oh, because theoretically that blends off to nothing, right? So there shouldn't really be anything there. What time is it? We got 56 minutes until the live stream starts. The other live stream. It's a cool aesthetic, but I don't know that we can keep it for here. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to have to delete these one at a time. Excuse me. Okay. Still looks kind of cool, but I think we can raise this up now that we have determined. Yeah, I think that's going to look better. Spawning in, not bad. There might be some more things we can do to kind of like make that look a little more like you can fall through it. There's this problem where we've got the text object back there, and because we wanted it to light it up, it's causing the ground to get lit up, which is almost cool, but because you want it to look like it's an abyss, that's not what you're going for. There's also more foreground that we'll add, which will be good. I am noticing there's kind of a hard edge in the corner over there, which is unintentional now, but it's now visible because of the ground. So one way we could ease that up is by adding an extra angle over here. So if we grab this guy and stretch him out just a hair. grab this one. Stretch him like that. Okay. Oh, and then I've got to fill that out still. Back into build mode. So selecting those two, stretch to there. Cool. Now when we look at that, it's not a corner at least, so it's less bad. We could do a few more of those if we really wanted to like smooth it out even more, and then it would be pretty much unnoticeable. I think for now though, I might keep it as a cube and just kind of try to hide it later on, just to limit our geometry required for this world. Okay. So many more colors to add and things to do. Oh, and I never built the ribbon. That was the thing I was dreading. I should go do the ribbon. There's some easy ways to do it. Let's see. So the ribbon has these kind of like 3 tones. It's not see-through. Let's go grab this. And it's also got like a center. So I'm going to duplicate this and thin this out like that. Center it in here. And then consider, once this is made much thinner, that this could be one piece of the ribbon. And then we'll have to build more. Problem is that by doing it this way, we are going to have to set the color up right now. So the white on the outside is totally fine, but the purple on the inside is missing. So let's go grab solid color here, grab this kind of dark purple there, and maybe even darker, like darker. And in much of this, there's some like orange lighting that fills it up, but I can tell it's orange lighting on a white surface. So I feel like this is pretty close to the right color for this ribbon. I'm thinking I'm gonna leave it as is for now. So we can then take this piece and we just need to scale it to be the right size. So it comes out of here like this. And this is gonna be so hard. I'm like very concerned. Let's go stretch that out. Make sure that looks like it's coming out at an angle. Skinny it up a little bit. Go see what that looks like in play mode. Okay, that looks pretty close. Could be a little smaller, I think. So let's shrink that down just a hair. Check that out. Nice. Okay, so then this needs to wrap in an angled loop. And so if you've never done array tool, this is a good time to start. So the way we're going to do this is grab duplicate, no snapping on for this because I need it to be smooth, and then slide and array. And this is so many shapes. Too much of an angle there. It's not terrible, but it's supposed to be more flat at that point. And so we're going to go ahead and undo. And the other thing I'm realizing is the center should actually be an unlit black, I think. So we get kind of a more less of these lines in it. So let's go grab this color. Hey, Kale. Oh, that looks so good. That looks so good. I'm gonna eat that up. Undo. You can come in. You can come say hi. I think you're actually out of the shot right there. So this first one needs to go down and curve. Down and curve like this. Can you see the screen, Kale? So you can see what I'm doing? Oh, nice. This is so hard to do. So it's got it down and curve. Oh, that's weird. There you go. And so now I'm going to array tool. Here we go. Ooh. 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 Got pretty bad there. It wasn't bad at the beginning, though. I think I just need to add another curve starting right here. So this guy needs to be a curve. Not bad, just not enough. Let's go a little bit down. And then this piece here is going to actually just turn out to be straight, more or less. And then there's kind of a building here that's going to step into, so something like that. That's so good. Okay, there we go. We've built the ribbon. And actually at a distance, it doesn't look too bad. You still got some like stepping there that I need to go and fix, but that is not too bad. This last one, huh? It's so good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. You can go first. We have a live stream starting in 48 minutes, so I'll have to wrap this soon anyway. Okay, that is looking really good. First color to be added to this night space, which is cool. Looking at it, thinking about the rotation of it, and there's some things I'd like to do because it's just not perfect, but I'm also thinking we can limit the number of shapes in a couple ways. Like if you look up here, I think we can take these out. Maybe even this one, and really focus on stretching this out more like this, and then just try to line it up to here. And I think that'll look even better, but it'll be more accurate too. So there we go. And then after that point, it starts to rotate. So we need to get this rotation going on up in here. So I'm thinking just eyeball, stretch. Oh, this is going to be so hard. Eyeball and stretch. That is not easy to do. Okay, that's not bad. Let's remove this. Kind of remove that shadow by pulling it down into there. And maybe grab this one and do the opposite. Pull it into there. Now what does that look like? It's still got kind of a hard edge there. It's not great, but it's on its way. Yeah, it's on its way. And then the last thing that I really want to like adjust here from a like starting and ending position was rotating this to be more straight like that. So those are important pieces. And that's also at too much of an angle now that I'm looking at it. It really needs to go past. So interestingly, this is a building that's more over here. And more like that angle right there. And then stretch it out. Slide it in just a little bit and up. I think this actually needs to go over a little bit more. Dempster says, hey, buddy. And I say, hey, Dempster. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you, man. JC says, would love to know what new updates are coming for Horizon Worlds in 23. I would too. I don't know. I'm not really supposed to say much. There's a lot of cool things, and if you watch the streams, you might even get a sneak peek of stuff I'm not supposed to show. But I really shouldn't say. The main thing that I would say is things are really slow right now as things are working on. Well, first of all, they're out of office for most of this month, so there's nobody there. Then things are just kind of slow in general as they're picking up their. I'm trying to say something that's nice. They lost a lot of people. I'm sure you're aware of that, and that's kind of slowed down the production a little bit. And there's also the yeah, I think that's the main thing I was going to say. Is that what I think it is? Yes, Dimster, take a look. Take a look. I wish you were here. A futuristic city of ivory. Yeah, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it? Now, there's still a lot more color to do. It's in its gray box stage right now, but it's coming along quite nicely. I'm very happy with the first aesthetic. I'm thinking I'll actually quickly show you guys here. If we go to this shot right there, you can see that these are the images we're working from, and there's another one right there. And so you can see this is the one that we're kind of working on right now. And it's coming along quite nice. We're definitely getting the full aesthetic of the logo, but I love the kind of like playful gaming nature of this one. So this is where I think I'd really like to focus our attention to detail and then kind of use this one for its simple geometry, which is a lot easier to do in the background. Plus it's the logo, so we got to focus on that. And then this, I think, can be the area that we actually let people visit. So when we build the space for visitors to hang out, this will be what it looks like. Ideally, we don't have enough geometry, but we'll try. Okay, back to desktop capture. There we go. Oh, and did I just lose you guys? Oh my goodness. I just lost my chat windows. Weird. I'll reopen that up. Does this bring... I don't know what it does. I don't know what I'm doing. That's sad. It's weird because it normally doesn't close my windows when I do other things. So Google Chrome chat window. There you guys. Wait, that's not you. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're all on the back end. What in the world? Do I need to hit that pen? Okay, I do. And move you back over here. Boom. You guys are back. Dimster says I'm online if you want to add me. I don't actually own the world, Dimster. I'm so sorry. This is a Oculus 410 world, so I don't actually have access to this one to add people. Otherwise, I totally would. And I'd love that. There's a few people here who've been asking, and I've been really wanting to add people, but sad. Okay, almost done fixing all these menus back up. I think that's the main ones, right? So we got the main image, got the thing. Very cool. Although there's one more I'd really like to... Oh, please don't close anything. It's so hard to use this. They stopped develop, and all of my menus just closed. Oh my gosh. It's so hard to use Airlink because they're not really developing it officially anymore. So it's like, is it even supported? Okay, let's just jump in. This is close enough to being good. Okay, so I wanted to fix this thing here. It's like so close. Maybe the answer is way easier than I realized. So this is like the goal is, you know, something rotating like that. But maybe the answer is actually one of our new asset friends out here, since we do have some of those. And is it a full half? It's not a full half. It's more like maybe one of these, the torus quarter. Do we have a skinny torus quarter? Skinny torus quarter. I don't actually see that on here. I'm expecting one of these ones to have a quarter, but there's only this one with a quarter. Oh, okay. So maybe there's some shapes that never got made. Let's go search shapes. Search for the quarter. Search for a Q. There's that quarter. There's that quarter. Oh man, there really isn't. Ah, that stinks. Because that's too thick. Well, I guess we can go with the half then. Which, wait, do we not? Oh, there's the half. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to try and model this to match here. It can be skewed a little bit. It needs to be the same thickness. It needs to be the same white tone. There we go. Yeah, interestingly, the new assets actually have a different color palette, so they're not the same white, which is quite funny. So we can't snap, for sure cannot snap. Also, that's not enough curve, so we definitely need to add some curve to that. Oh, it's so ugly. That is so ugly. That is not going to work. Got it. Okay. Now that we know that that's not going to work, I know I was thinking the same thing, Dempster. I was like, what is that? 24.95 torus? Yeah. So the question is, can I build... Let's just delete this one. We did such a good job, but we need it to be like this. Going down. Okay. Now we take that and eyeball it in. So close. So close. So close. Oh, maybe we could make that work. Can we make that work? Oh, I don't know if we can. Let's see. Select this guy. Slide it over. Select this guy. Slide it over. I think we should make this unlit white as well so it blends better. So we'll go unlit. It's a little too bright, so we'll go and dim that down a little bit, but not that much. More. There we go. Okay, now that should blend these. Darn it. Redo. Purple. Purple. Oh no, come on. Purple. There we go. And so then I'm thinking we grab this and put that right about there. And then I was also thinking we take this and rotate him a little bit more like that. And then maybe to turn that up a little bit. Okay, this is not working exact, but okay. Then this guy, the hard one, needs to come out like that. This is so difficult to do. Oh, I've got to somehow get this to go down to that in a perfect lineup with this. Okay. And stretch out to there. What does that look like? Darn, it's not bad, but it's got that little like edging there that I was trying to fix, but it's better, but it's still so sharp going down. It needs to be a much softer angle, which is hard to fix. I guess I need to take that down more on the first bit. Yeah. Huh. Work on an ice curve, then we're going to. Yep, that was the right approach, Dempster. I think I'm going to need to come back to this piece. It's a good starting point for the sketch. It's just not where I want it to be. So, okay, we've got about 20 minutes left. Well, we got 37 minutes until the live stream starts on the Go Day Fashion page on Facebook. We'll be sharing it on the Video and Oculus 410 pages, and I believe they're actually going to get started early with some like pre-roll. I should get more information on this before the event starts. Let's go facebook.com/video and take a quick peek. I'll even let you look at not the back of my head. That one. And that one. There we go. So if you guys haven't seen this world, I encourage you to check it out. It's the Tomato Galaxy. Here is a link. It's on the facebook.com/video page. You can go check that out in Horizon Worlds. And there's some photos here. There's the whole team that worked on it. Bunch of photos if you want to check those out. Instagram filter if you're into that sort of thing. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny Instagram filter. And this is where it's happening. 1 day to go. Okay, so they still haven't posted the link. I'm not sure how the live stream is going to show up on here, so I'm kind of interested to figure that out. I'm really not sure. But once it is, we'll share the link on here and there. So looking forward to that. Aw, just like, look at all that likes. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. If you haven't seen this pirate video, that's also a really funny one from Jay this morning. Okay, back to OBS. Oh, brain is so sore. If you squint a lot. Oh, Dimster, thank you. Yeah, this is a really good starting point. So I think for now, I want to start imagining what the rest of this space is. And so if we look at our capacity, I have to like convince Oculus to be okay with us using a ton of capacity on art in this world, which is going to use up like at least half of our geo. And then from there, I want to take the remaining simulation and animation, and our player settings are set to 32. And I want to use that on like mini games and experiences. And so I was building a game recently, which I think that's where we're going to do. So we're going to wrap our time here today in this world. I'll probably come back on live when I continue building, and we'll get Dimster and some of y'all in. But we're going to go to another world I've been working on, which we just renamed today to be called Bubble Wrap Popping Challenge. Yep, okay, I got that right. And so in this world, it's got a really simple mechanic where you just jump around. It uses a ton of capacity because they're all animated objects. But I theorize there's a way to build this even more efficiently than it currently is. And so kind of curious to see about building it with like asset spawning rather than using interactive objects. And asset spawning is pretty much free. You just have to pay the geo cost. Which, hey, if we use... rolls off the tongue. Oh, I love this, though. You can see the colors paint across, which is really fun. And then they're all this fun stuff. I love this stuff. Boop, boop, boop. Oculus told me that the triggers are not working super well in build mode, although these seem to be working really well. And so I was having this issue, and so to fix it, I put this collidable cube underneath this, but apparently I don't need the collidable cube because in build mode, you would fall through sometimes. Oh no! But the idea is that you'd try to get a streak going, right? And then, oh no! But then you'd fall through in build mode. So I'm curious if I publish this, if it'll, oh no. Oh no, it's so hard. Okay, actually, this makes it a lot more fun now that I'm... Oh no, no! But it's less of a Zen. Maybe I should make a button for Zen mode. Okay, undo what I did. Open up the properties panel of this, bring it over here, and let's create a button for Zen mode that basically turns off the collidability of this. So we create gizmo, trigger, script, and trigger, open, attach script 1. Rename script 1, call it Zen mode, and this is gonna be so great. Modes, game modes, Zen mode. Okay, and then we're gonna have to set some values, not necessarily on world start though. Oh, Waffle sent me a message. He's so sweet. Oh, love that guy. So we're going to Booleans, and we're setting I want to describe this state. So we're calling it Zen mode. So Zen mode is going to start as false. And so when world is started, we want to have an event that sets this. And we're going to be called, oh, you know what we'll do? This is easy. We'll do when trigger is entered by player is going to be the event that sets it. That totally makes sense. And then we'll actually disable the trigger for like 10 seconds. So set trigger detection to false. And then we'll re-enable it when event is received, called re-enable. Re-enable. We can then re-enable the trigger. So we'll duplicate this into here, set it to true, and then send event with delay. Send event re-enable to self after, we'll do 5 seconds. And then we'll also send event to self on world start. With no delay, send event, trigger enter to self with server player, so that way it's received. And then what this is going to do in the trigger enter event is it's going to update the display. And so we set Zen mode to not Zen mode. And what we want to do is actually do this after the and I'm trying to I'm going so fast. So we want to do Zen mode last, right before, yeah, it's the last thing we do. So we can do it right before setting re-enable. Oh, no, we're going to put it after re-enable. So it's like set trigger detection to false, send re-enable itself after 5 seconds, then set Zen mode to not Zen mode. And the reason we do this at the last step is because that makes it take the first thing we put into the world. So we're setting it to be false on default. And so then what we want to do is set object collidability right here, right before this. So we set object collidability to Zen mode, and then we set it to not Zen mode. And this isn't for self, this is for an object we're going to reference. Although, yeah, we attached it to the trigger. So this goes on object called floor collider. There we go. And click confirm. And so we set floor collider collidability to whatever Zen mode is. And then we want to display this on a text object so people can see. So we're going to create another object variable for the text that says what the state is. And then we're going to do an if else. So we're going to say if Zen mode, and then else. What up? Didn't see me, bro? Great to see you, man. Floor is lava mode. Yes, exactly. So we're going to say if Zen mode, we have two different things we want to display on the text object. So we're going to go set display text into the Zen mode. And oh, I don't even have to type anything. I just need to drag the text over. Boom. And then what we're going to type is, if it's true, we say Zen mode colon, there's a colon, Zen mode enabled. And then we'll duplicate this down here for else, and then we'll say disabled. So that way you can see what the current state is. And whenever you do make a trigger enter, I highly encourage you to add sound effects, visual effects, all the like, because it really makes it feel a lot better. So we're going to create some sound effects, confirm. We're also going to grab some visual effects, objects, VFX. And because this button could be another setting, we might have multiple buttons in the future, we're going to use the move to move the visual effect and sound effect to the position of the trigger. So we'll go grab position of self for right here where the vector is. So position of self. And what are we moving? We're moving the visual effects. And then we'll duplicate this and then move the sound effects. And then we can go to actions to play the sound and visual effects. There we go. Play sound, play visual effects. Booyah. Okay. And just like to keep those in the same order. So visual effect, sound effect, visual effect, sound effect. And that is the button being entered. Then we do the floor collidability. Then we say Zen mode. The order of this isn't super important, but for my mind, I like to have an order. If Zen mode, display Zen mode enabled on text. And else display Zen mode disabled on text, and then set it to be not. So it flips it. And then re-enable set self-detection to true. Okay, so that should be everything we need to enable a Zen mode. So maybe we should actually change this not to say Zen mode enabled. We say display Zen mode, or we say like lava mode. Like maybe we call it like Zen mode versus lava mode since the floor becomes lava. And then what we can do, which might be interesting, is set the object visibility. So we go set object visibility. And what's interesting about object visibility is we need it to be the opposite of collidability, because the floor should be lava. When the floor is visible, it should be not Zen mode, right? So we use the not function to flip it. And this is for the floor collider. And then we just got to go set up a bunch of references in this trigger. I also want to turn on the visibility of this just so we can visualize what that looks like. So we'll go and turn on visibility. There we go. And we need to grab an unlit red. So we're going to go grab manual color slider, unlit, grab an orange, maybe more of a reddy orange like that. That looks pretty good. I think it's needs to be more red though. More red, more red. There we go. And is there a texture that looks like lava if we use it? Like this one? Maybe go large. And because we can't see the texture, we can actually bring up the texture by changing this. So if you drag this down from the peak corner there, it brings out the texture in the, there you go. So now you got that lava. And to make this more fun, let's bring the lava collider or the lava floor down just a hair. There we go. That should do. So now it kind of looks like you got floors lava mode. Super good. We should also extend this to be a little bit wider though. Like probably like that. Probably like that. Boop. And one more boop. Come on. There you go. That looks a little better. Yep, that's good. Okay, so New user voice for feature request. More red button. Okay, so we're gonna go and grab something to like press on. And Dimster has suggested a red button, which we do like red buttons. But I don't know that we need a red button as much as we need something that's obviously like where you place your hand. And so since this is kind of like where you go to look at things, I'm thinking we put this in the floor like that. And then we go off of this with something more like this. This is going to be kind of a pedestal, right? Oopsie daisy, come on, work with me here. Why are you being so hard to work with there, little guy? There we go. Slide them in. Okay, and slide this over. Booyah. Slide it, skinny it. There we go. So this is the pamphlet that's going to tell you all the details. So let's go grab a text object. And we're going to start by typing in the longest one, which would be lava mode. Or is it Zen mode? No, lava has one extra character. I'm going to turn off autofit. And we're going to go put this on over here. We need to change the color of these. That'll do. And I'll go put that right here. Now, I don't know if it's super clear that this is how you swap the modes. So I'm thinking we put this down here because then this looks more like a display of the mode. And then, come on, there you go. Booyah. And then we can maybe take in 2 more pieces here to make this really pop. So we're going to snap. Why is duplicate keep getting selected? Oh my goodness. Slide over to like that. Now it looks more like a display. And then to make it really look like a display, we're going to duplicate. We're going to make it just... Oh my gosh. I have no idea what's happening right now. It's like my controllers aren't behaving. Skinny that up. And down. I hate when that happens because you're like, oh, I just scaled it all uniformly, but then it's not uniformly scaled because the edges are like that. Anyway, so fixed that. Now what we need to do is take this inside piece and make that an unlit black so it looks more like a display screen. So we go grab black and we're going to do unlit and drop that right there. This really didn't pop like I was hoping it would. Maybe we do the opposite then. So paint this black. Okay, not bad. I'll accept that. So then we do need a trigger, and I'm thinking the trigger. Thanks, Zach. Yes, Happy New Year. What I wanted to do is make a hand, and I'm just going to quickly search the asset library for hand. I saw a butt recently that came out of the asset library, so I'm expecting there might be a hand. Give me a hand. Oh, there's not going to be a hand. But honestly, I was like, why are there naked statues in the asset library now? I guess they want it to look like whatever. That's oh wow, look at the metal on that. There's no way that looks like that, right? Oh wow, it's not similar. Okay. Maybe hand isn't. Oh, done. Okay, I'm not going to search for hand. I can model a hand. I'm really good at hands. So the first thing we need to do is build a palm. So you pull out this piece here, stretch it like that. There is our palm. Then we duplicate it, slide it, stretch it, and we've got a thumb. And I'm going to do right hand. So right hand thumb goes there. We're going to go put this here and duplicate 2, 3, and 4. And then we know the pinky is always really skinny and short, so we're going to shrink that down a little bit, move it off to the side. Then we got our next finger, which is just a hair longer. And then this one, depending on who you are and how your hands are made, is sometimes longer or shorter or the same. And that looks pretty good. Okay, that's decent start for a hand. I think the fingers are a little bit long, so I'm going to shrink those down a little bit. Voila. My hand. Okay, I think it's okay. We'll skinny that up just a hair more, and then we select this and gloop gloop badoop, and that is going to be how you can change the settings is by pressing this to change the setting. So I can imagine walking up to here and I put my hand in, boop, need to make it a little bit taller. So let's go and select this, scale that up to there, select here and all of that, deselect this, sliding up. And I actually want to make this, slide that down. Okay, so now you come over here, much easier to press. You can still read these a little bit, but I feel like this is kind of getting in the way. So skinny this up a hair quite a bit. And same with this. And maybe we'll actually make this the same size as the hand. And then we'll skinny this up substantially. Make sure to snap that back in the center as before. Up higher, slide up. Okay, and then we'll snap this. Nice. Slide down. Select. Center. Out just a hair. Come on. I think I figured out what's happening with my controllers. They're pointing at these menus, and so it's kind of throwing me off because it's not doing exactly what I'm expecting it to do. Okay, there we go. So now we can press the button and it'll change the mode, which isn't super clear from this perspective that it's changing the mode, but hopefully with a visual and sound effect we can get that. You can always change that border color to reflect the mode. That's a really good idea, Dimster, and I was actually thinking about it. I haven't fully signed myself up for it, but I have been thinking about it. Okay, and then under sounds, we want to grab a really big, there's a eruption sound that's really good. Volcanic eruption. Yeah. We'll just go with the full-on volcanic eruption. This is great because it'll do it even for Zen mode. So distance is going to be, maximum distance will be, yeah, there we go. That's good. 0 and 100, and volume will be taken down a little bit. Maybe volume's higher, actually. Oh my gosh, it's so loud. This is great. Okay, let's go and put this in place. And then I'm putting it down here, so hopefully they'll look down when they hear it coming from below. I don't even know if I really want a visual effect. I do want the visual effect right here, I guess. And then I also want to add haptic feedback. These are all the niceties. Okay, we've only got 15 minutes until the stream starts. And I do want to eat my food before. Well, I guess I could eat it during the stream. But I also want to eat it while it's fresh. Sparkles AoE, Waterworks, Fireworks, Magic Collapse, Magic Buildup. Magic Collapse is pretty good for like a pressing button effect. That seems to make sense. Okay, so we got our Magic Collapse in there. Let's go grab our trigger, which it shows being right here, but I definitely am not seeing it. That's got me very concerned. Stop the world script. Stop. Clear. Ah, there it is. I know what happened. I will show you what happened in a minute. Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Okay, we're gonna put this here, and I didn't have the world stop, so it was running a bunch of code while I was building, and I didn't realize it messed all my stuff up. Anyway, now you know I stopped the world most of the time while scripting. And slide down. There we go. So that's in the right place for that. Now we need to go and link all the things in. Okay. That's not what I wanted, but that is up there. Go ahead and pull it close. There we go. Trigger. Let's start with the visual effects. Visual effects going in. Next step, we're going to do the sound effect and then the text. Okay. sound effect. We'll go grab text while we're down here. Okay, and our sound effect going in. Text object going in. I need to get the collider for the floor. Okay, so here's our floor collider. Bring that over. All right, so now when the world is started, it should make some noise. Okay, and it starts on lava mode, which I'm totally okay with. Now, if I press the button again, I get the same sound, but it's now on Zen mode, which is just like freeform popping, which I love. That is awesome. Okay, there we go. And then you can re-enable lava mode, which should be scary. No! Yeah, okay, lava mode's great. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the button works good. I forgot to add haptic feedback, so let's go quickly fix that problem. Oh man, but haptics I'm gonna have to calculate mathematically because you don't get hand on trigger enter. Where'd my script go? There it is. Okay. And I kind of do want to differentiate between Zen mode and not Zen mode with the sound effect, because I feel like when you go to Zen mode and it's like, so we should go create a Zen sound effect. New object, Zen sound effects. So we'll have to figure out what that is. If you guys got a good sound effect suggestion, I see So Windy as a suggestion. But yeah, if you got a good sound effect suggestion, other than windy, let me know. So we got the visual effect playing. The sound effect is going to be based off whether it's Zen mode or not. So if it's Zen mode, we're going to play the Zen sound effect. So we'll go ahead and drag that in. And then we need to do a... Oh man, I'm not going to do haptics. I'm sorry, guys. It's like, it's an extra few lines. Oh, it's the old way. Okay, I'll do it if you really beg me. Okay, so you do an if and an else, and then we have to do a distance check to find out which hand is closer to the trigger. So we do if the distance from one hand is less than the distance to the other hand. And so we go down to distance 2, which is going to give us the amount of distance in meters, and drag that into the A slot. And then we got to grab the position of object, which is self, because we're checking the distance to the position of the trigger. From that to the position of the player's hands. Then we go down to player, where we can get position of player, and then go grab player pill, select right hand. So the first thing we're checking is the right hand less, meaning it's closer than the left. So then we duplicate this into the right and select left. And if that's true, the wheel will vibrate the right hand. Otherwise, we vibrate the left. And then we can go to actions, haptic feedback, which is somewhere in here. There it is. Set play haptics on controller. And this one does the right hand. We're going to do it for 100 milliseconds with medium and sharp. Although I'm almost thinking it should be stronger and more coarse because it's more like a volcano, right? So we'll duplicate this, and then we change this to left hand. And now we should get the haptic feedback I was going for. We do need that sound effect, and the suggestions were the current one sounded windy through the stream. Like, oh, really? Someone blowing on the mic. Oh, I see what you're saying. Interesting. Interesting. Well, maybe in response to that, we'll grab some actual wind sounds because... Oh, those aren't great. Those aren't great. Let's grab something. Let's grab something musical, maybe. Something soft. I want something that ends though, that doesn't play forever. I guess we could just like, once Zen mode's enabled, just leave. No, but we don't want to do music because then it never ends, and like people want to turn it off. That's it right there, victory piano. Something meditative. I know, right? But like what? I'm just like, oh, sure. What? Close takeoff. That's the name of that one. Just gonna let you sit with the fact that that's a sound effect name. Oh, whoosh. That's good. The whoosh. The whoosh. Okay, we're bringing in the high whoosh 2. We're going to lower the pitch, increase the volume, lower the pitch, change that distance up, and hit the play. Nice. That feels great. Okay, we'll drop that down to here so you understand where it's coming from. And that, I think, will do it. So script and play. That's a lovely starting sound when you arrive. Now let's press the button again. Oh, there's a nice haptic, but not strong enough. But that haptic needs to be a lot stronger. So right now we have it set to 1 second, or like 0.1 seconds. So we should actually change this up to 1,000, so it's 10 times longer. And then that should feel a little bit better. And then the other thing we want to do is I was thinking about having a pop-up that tells the player like Zen mode enabled. And so we'll do show simple pop-up for player. No, show pop-up for player. And so we'll say the player is this player. Come on down. The text is Zen mode. The time is, sure, 5. I'll do, 5 seconds is fine. The position is fine. The font size needs to go down to like 2 because these are always way too big. And we're not going to play a sound or show a timer. And we'll duplicate that into the lava mode and then just duplicate lava mode up. And there we go. Now we got a nice visual to let them know what they've just done. It's a little bit more clear what they've changed. Zen mode. It's a little hard to read at that distance. Lava mode. So let's move the distance in. Checking my time. We are about out of time, guys, so we're going to have to wrap this here. So the distance, I want to move it in by minus 0.5. I don't know if that's the right one to move. That's good. That's it right there. Perfect. Okay. Ta-da! For the bubbles kind of sound. Fear the bubbles kind of sound. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and stop the world, hit the publish button, and let people enjoy that. There's a new update, y'all. So feel free to check that out. Man, 5 minutes left. I'm so nervous because I haven't seen the link. That's the worst part about a live stream is when you haven't seen the link for it and you're just like, where's the link? Let's go check my, you guys can follow along. There we go. Oops, wrong button. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to video, command refresh, control refresh. There we go. And let's see. Going to the Go Day Fashion page. Is it up? I don't see it. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, December 30th. That's today, right? I'm like, is it right? Okay. Live. I'll have to ask Oculus. Stay tuned, though. We're going to share it on our page. In fact, so much so, I should just go see if Oculus has already shared it. Regularly scheduled. Oh, don't cry, Aaron. I'm sorry. It's okay if you're here, Aaron. I know you were here earlier, but don't cry. It's okay. I'm doing better. We're doing better. Things are getting better. Don't worry. Okay, let's go find that link to Oculus. How do I get to Oculus's page? I guess I just got to click on his name. There we go. Lakes is live. What is he up to this time? Wow, that's some meta right there. I wasn't expecting to see that. Okay, I don't see a link. Oculus, I need your help. I'm so lost. I don't know where to go, where to look, but I'm excited. So we'll go ahead and get that up and that information to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, The audio sounds so much different in this stream than in the world. Ah, I know, right? Isn't that crazy? It is super different. It's super weird. Super duper weird. Let's go back to there. There's my audio you're used to, Dimster. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close it off here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to go check out the new video on the main channel and stay tuned for that live stream that's coming out soon. Facebook.com/video. I'm going to share it as soon as I see it. So we will get that out, and I hope you'll join us there for that. In the meantime, we will talk to you later. Bye. I'm still like, where is that live stream? I have no idea. I have no idea. I thought it would be somewhere in my messages at least. I don't know. I'm only a little bit concerned. Let's see. I had one more thought. I was going to try, I think it's goday.com, something like that. Goday.com. Is that a thing? Nope, that's not a thing. Goday. No, that's not it. That's a loan company. You have to type Goday Fashion. There's got to be a way to get to their website. About shopgoday.com. Of course it is. Of course it's something like that. Shopgoday.com. I'm like, is it going to be on the website or the Facebook page? Because I thought it was going to be the Facebook page, but not seeing a link has me concerned. Not seeing anything. No, command refresh. Okay, guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's like they got like 2 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually hop into the lunchroom chat in Discord. So if you're on our Discord, if you're not, you can get there. It's link's been posted recently on Facebook.com/video. But I'm gonna go hang out in the lunchroom while we figure out where where this stream's happening. So I hope to see you there. Bye again.